I mean, is it going to be here when you say a 3? Is it going to be a 3 at the top? What do you mean 3? Where am I putting the 3? All right. And here at the bottom. No. All right. Nickel's an element by itself, right? What do we ask ourselves anytime we have an element by itself? Is it diatomic? As soon as you said no, it gets nothing. An element by itself is either written by itself, Ni, or it gets a subscript of 2. As soon as you said it's not diatomic, it gets what on it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it is strictly Ni plus. That 3 is useless because what are we not doing with the 3? What's an oxidation number 4? To cross. Do we have anybody to cross that 3 with? No. So we don't do anything with it. It's junk. All right? Oxygen is a what? It's an element. Is it one of the 7? So what do we do to it? You put a 2 on it. Yields what? Okay, an arrow. That's fine. What do I do now? Ni. What's that? All right, so this is a what this time? So now we're going to do what with the numbers? Crisscross. So I had some people trying to give me the subscripts already. So nickel has a what? And O has a what? So we have a 2 here and a 3 there. That's why people were giving me subscripts. Do y'all have that? Okay. So now all that's left is to do what? To balance. So I have how many O's? How many O's here? So I'm putting a what? How many Ni's? So I'm putting a 4. Okay? That's like what you're doing on the quiz today. All the elements and compounds are given on both sides of the arrows.
So if it's an element, we don't add the number.
Not unless it's what? One of the 7 diatomics. That's the only reason you add something. Okay? So this one, this is like our homework. This is predicting. You don't have this on the quiz today. So how do you decide what you're going to get? What do you need to do first? Find the oxidation number. So what's nickel here? It's a plus what? It's a plus 3. Chlorine is a what? Negative who? And barium is a what? Plus 2. Now, how did I know that nickel was going to be plus 3 and chlorine is going to be minus 1 and not a minus 2? Because I keep getting minus 2 in both classes. What'd you say? Well, it's not reduced, but how did I know it was not a minus 2?
For a BA?
No, for that chlorine. I keep getting chlorine is minus 2 from all my classes. Look up chlorine on your oxidation sheet.
I mean, that's what I wrote down.
It says -1. Where do you think people are getting minus 2 from?
Oh, because it's not by itself.
It's not by itself. It's diatomic. People are like, oh, it's diatomic. So they yell out it's a 2 because it's diatomic. That 2 for being diatomic is not an oxidation number. Okay? So don't slap a 2 up there because, oh, chlorine's diatomic. Its oxidation number is a 2. That is not the case. Okay? I know, but they do. But I keep getting people who are yelling, its oxidation number is a 2, but it's not. It's a -1. When you look up chlorine on your blue sheet, chlorine's oxidation number is -1. Okay, so who's switching? Nickel and Ba. All right, Ba's barium. So what am I going to get over here if Ni and Ba switch? Ba's going here and Ni is going over there. So what do I get? Ba with Cl and then plus Ni. Okay? So notice no numbers cross the arrow, right? Because I have no polyatomic ions. So now I have to put in my subscripts. +2 -1. 2 comes down, 1 comes down.
Right.
Nickel's by itself. Is it one of the 7? No. So we're not doing anything yet. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this 1. And then we're ready to balance.
Wait, why wouldn't nickel be +2?
It is a +2. You mean like a 2 here?
No, at the beginning.
Here?
Yeah.
Because what's that number right there?
the 3.
So that 3 came from there.
Oh my gosh.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because that was 3.
All right, so to balance. What do we want to balance first? Cl. How many chlorines are here? How many chlorines are here? So we're going to put what here?
2.
And what here?
3.
How many nickels did I make?
2.
So I'm going to put a what?
2.
And how many bariums? So I'm going to put a what?
3.
Good. Now, in 3 and 4, I didn't ask you to balance. I just asked you to type. What's this thing right here?
Okay.
And what's this thing?
Element.
So if you got a compound and an element, and what's this?
Okay.
And what's this?
The element.
So which type had a compound and an element? You make a compound and element. That's single.
Oh.
Okay? Now, double had a what and a what? Compound, compound, and you've got a compound, compound. All right, number 4, this is combustion because you got a hydrocarbon plus oxygen, you get CO2 plus water. That's combustion. Now, just to review, what was synthesis and decomposition since I didn't put those 2 up there?
Synthesis, you would put it together and decomposition. You would put it.
Okay, so this one would be an example of what? That's synthesis because we're putting it together. There's no plus side on this side. Okay, questions? Now, we can go over homework if you want, or we going to do it after the quiz. The homework is not on the quiz. Okay, we can do that. A lot of people do. That's why I was giving you the choice. Okay, now, you do not need, let me check the quiz. You might be okay on yours. Let me see. You can use your blue sheet. You can use your blue sheet. I didn't put any acids on it. I have 7 out testing. It's all good.
Hold on, can you tell me what those 7, what are they called?
Diatomics? H, N, O, F, C, L, D, R, and I. Okay, the sentence I gave you is Hector now owns 5 clear brown whites. Oh, your openings. I forgot to take those up. Because I can grade those while y'all are doing your quiz. If you have them.
Well, you would say we're friends, right?
That's a very loose statement. Why?
Okay.
Right, if you have them, stick them on my desk. If you need more time on them, like Jade asks, like I said, up into a point. All right? Most likely I will hand them back by Friday. But once I hand them back, I will mark them late and I will take points off. Okay? I think you're losing stuff. Losing what? Losing your head? You're gonna lose your head. You got an important test this week.
I'm not coming.
You're not coming? They're just gonna track you down and make it take you to the makeup test. It's not optional.
That's what your school.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
Put your name on it. I'm losing it.
I took my name.
Okay. You'll be here for days. Wait, I need to tear off little shreds. I don't either. All right, so Sophie's the last one to go. All right, on your quiz paper, I put little lines here for the types if you're abbreviating, which most people do. But if you're just not somebody who's going to abbreviate, you need to write the type under, feel free. Okay? Each of the questions is worth 20 points. So 5 of it goes to types, 15 is for the equation. Make sure I can read what you wrote. It's important that I can read the subscripts. Make it legible for me. Okay, everybody got a paper? Did I miss anybody? Oh, apparently I thought you'd been flowing, Dave, right? It's because I thought your twin was here. If you can figure out what it is, we can probably convert it. Yeah, find out what it's in, then we can probably convert it. Julia, do you only have 9 openings?
The other says that it says, oh, we have, I don't think we have to have motion. Because I think motion.
Okay, I just want to make sure I counted right. How many of you are still working? Because I can see some folks are still on the paper. Okay. How many of the people are still working now? It looks like less months. Xavier, you still working?
I'm done,
You sure?
I guess.
All right, best papers to the front.
Let's do it.
Yes, you, I'm not ready to take it home.
Get out of here at 11:42.
Yep. Yep, nothing about today's different. You just don't have bills. All right, so find your homework. Let's talk about predicting. Because on this quiz, you had both sides of the formula, right? So for the next 3 days, you're not going to have both sides, okay? You're only going to have one side, and you have to figure out the other side, because that's the last thing you'll do that has both sides. Come on, boy. There we go. All right, so you guys should be looking at 4, 5, and 6 because we did 1, 2, and 3 yesterday. So you should be looking at 4, 5, and 6 to see how you did. Okay? We did 1, 2, and 3 in class. So 4, 5, and 6 are the ones you did for homework, and then I'll pull up 1, 2, 3 on the back in a second. And then we're going to learn double displacement and combustion today, which are 2 of the easiest of the 5. We're going to save decomposition most likely for tomorrow. I doubt we get to that today. How do you think you did on the quiz? Did you think it was pretty easy?
Number 4.
4, yeah.
Number 4 was 4.
The bottom one.
Balancing it or writing it?
Balancing.
Balancing it, okay.
That one was easy to write.
It was easy to write, just the balancing. What was the trick that I taught you to do if you got stuck with it?
Write the 2 on that one.
Okay.
I did it again.
You did it again?
I think
Okay.
I got that one wrong.
I did. I know I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't finish writing.
You finished writing or
No,
just didn't balance it?
I didn't finish balance.
Oh, okay. Well, if you just didn't balance it right, that's only -5, so you'd still get 15 of your 20 points. All right, has everybody checked those 3, or do I need to wait?
Wait, why is it like 2 FE and you have like the +3?
Because I wrote +3 there so you know what FE to use on the other side. Because FE has more than one oxidation number and you look it up on the chart. So I told you to use the +3 there.
Is that an I or L? On 6. Alright. I thought it was. I was looking for an L.
All right, so if we look at those 3, let's check some on the back. All right. That's not what I wanted. That's the wrong page. That's not questions. I want. That's not what I want. Where's that? That's what I want right there. All right, those should be the answers. It should be the first 3 on the back side. And Jay, that should have been his rector. Let's take her.
That's right. That's right. He'll probably call
All right. How are we? What do we need to do? Which ones? 4, 5, and 6, or 1, 2, 3, any of them? Surely we didn't get them all right, and I don't need to do anything. Can we do 4? Sure. All right. Let's see if I can find 4.
only got 2 out of 6.
Okay. All right. So 4. All right. So when we look at 4, all right, oxidation numbers. What's cobalt's oxidation number? Is that little 3 right there? That's cobalt. So cobalt's a +3, oxygen's a -2, potassium's a what? +1. So you did say 4, right? I'm not working the wrong one, am I? Okay. So who's switching? Cobalt and K. Okay. So what am I getting on the other side? K with O. Don't bring the 3, just the K with the O. And then the C, O. All right, so we didn't bring any numbers. This is a compound, so I have to look up the what? So that's a +1, and that's a -2. So I keep them there so I know what they are. 2 comes down, 1 comes down. Cobalt's by itself. Is it 1 of the 7? No. I'm going to get rid of that 1 because I don't leave those things. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. And now I'm ready to balance. Okay? So 3 O's, 1 O. So I'm going to put a 3, 6 K's, 6 K's, 2 CO's, 2 CO's. All right. What else? Somebody said they only got 2 of them right. So pick one of the other ones you got wrong. Huh? 5. All right. So this is a +3. So this is a what? That's a polyatomic ion. So I'm going to put parentheses around it. All right. What's its oxidation number? -2. All right. What's lithium's oxidation number? +1. Okay. So lithium's a +1. Iron's a +3. Carbonate's a -2. So who's switching? Iron and lithium, right? So Fe is going to be with who? Fe is going to be with a CO3. And that means lithium will be by itself. Now, notice the only number that gets to come to the other side was the number that was where? In the parentheses. Now, how did I know to put the 3 inside the parentheses? When I looked it up on my oxidation sheet, the 3 is part of the polyatomic ion. It's part of the subscript, right? So it gets to stay. Now, this is a compound, so where does its numbers come from? It's oxidation numbers. Iron is a what? 3. Carbonate is a 2. So the 2 comes down, the 3 comes down. And then what do I know about lithium? It's by itself. Is it 1 of the 7? It gets nothing. Okay? So when I go to balance, carbonate has a what out here? 1. Carbonate there has a what? So I'm going to put a 3 there. I mean, how many lithiums? So I'm going to put a 6 there. How many ions? 2. So I'm going to put a 2 there. Questions? Anybody? Anything else on the homework you want to do? Anything on 1, 2, or 3 on the back? Nothing. I did it so well, no one has another question.
3 on the back.
3 on the back. All right. So how do I write manganese 7? How do I write manganese 7? Just Mn. Remember what we said when we were doing the opening? If it's an element, you ask yourself, is it 1 of the 7? Is it 1 of the 7 diatomic elements? No. So we don't put anything on it. This Roman numeral 7 does not get slapped up here. Some people are going to put that 7 on there on the quiz or on the test, and I'm going to just write minus whatever and keep going. Put a big X on it. It's not diatomic. It either gets a 2 or it gets nothing. It gets nothing because you just said to me, no, Ms. Wall, it's not diatomic. So it's just MEN. That's all it gets. Okay? Plus, lead is Pb, chloride is Cl. What is this? That means its oxidation number is a 2. Chloride's oxidation number is a what? -1. Okay? So we're going to bring the 2 down. Now, the only thing we need to know about manganese is what is its oxidation number for the purposes of who's switching? Well, we need to know it's +7, and that's +2, so we know who to switch. So who are we switching? Manganese and lead. But we're not doing anything with that 7 other than to say, oh, we're switching manganese and we're switching lead. Well, once I know that, we're getting rid of it. So manganese is now going to be with who? And Pb is now going to be what? By itself. Now, since there's no polyatomic ions, are any of those numbers going to cross the arrow? No. So Men is 7. Chlorine is a 1. Bring my 7 down and my 1 down. Pb is by itself. Does it get anything? No. Getting rid of that. Getting rid of these 2. Getting rid of those. And we're done. The CLs need to be balanced. We have 2. We have 7. So we're going to put a 7 there. And put a 2 there. That made 7. That made 2. Questions? Questions about how that works? Anybody need me to do anything else before we talk double displacement? Okay. All right, we're going to talk double displacement and combustion today. All right. All right, double displacement. We've already said yesterday is a compound plus a compound, and you get a compound plus a compound. And I wrote that back up here for Jade since she said I went too fast yesterday. Okay? So, when we did this on Friday, we said it was a compound plus a compound, and you get a compound plus a compound. Now, the thing that will make this slightly different from single displacement, and only slightly different, the process and the rules and the steps are all the same, okay, is that if you have something like this, 2 compounds, okay, when you identify their oxidation numbers, the only thing that is different about this in step 1, where we are going to identify their oxidation numbers, because you have 2 compounds, how many positive elements do you have?
2.
How many negative elements do you have?
2.
This time, you can choose to switch either the positive or the negative elements. It doesn't matter which one you switch, you will get the same answer. Okay? You pick. I always switch the positive ones in high school. So which ones do I still switch as a teacher? Really? If I started switching the positives when I was 15 years old, I still switch the positives at 48. I didn't suddenly decide to switch them midstream, genius. Really?
You can't be a day over 40. You can't be.
The great thing about being my age is I'm 3 years from retirement. So I don't mind being old.
You're retired 3 years though?
Yes, I am.
I mean, she might be 3 years away from retirement. That don't mean she got to do it.
Technically, only 2 with sick days.
Ooh, lucky you.
Yes, I am. Because there's a point where I will be coming to work almost for free. And if they're going to pay me the same thing to sit home in my pajamas as to come to work, which one would you choose?
Might as well come to work. Ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah. All right. All right. So let's say we're just going to finish this one up. All right. So this is our problem on the quiz later in the week, or the test on Monday. How do we go about working this? What's the first thing you did last night in your homework? Oxidation numbers, okay? Which I just gave you, right? So when you look these up, you're going to find +2, -1, +3, -1. So again, what did you do in your homework last night? Switch 2 that have the same sign. Not the same number, but the same sign. So either switch the 2 positives or switch the 2 negatives. You choose whichever one you prefer, okay? I choose the positives. But if you prefer the negatives, you switch the negatives. You choose. So when I started doing this way back when I was your age, all right, I moved aluminum there, and I put magnesium there. Now, just like yesterday, I'm not telling you to put the 2 positives together. So some of you, in a few minutes, will do this. Okay? Now, if you do that, think about this. Don't write this. If you put +2 and +3 there, can you write a compound name that has 2 positives? No. Every time you write a compound, it has to have 1 positive and 1 negative. Just like if you write +FCl, can you have 2 negative oxidation numbers together? No, that should tell you that you've made a mistake, right? So when I do this, my Mg is now going to be with who? Well, my Mg is with who to start with? Who's my Mg with right there? It's now going to be with who?
CL.
Now going to be with Cl. Plus, my Al is going to be with who? Who's my Al going to be with?
BR.
My Br. Now, notice I didn't bring any numbers across my arrow. Why didn't any numbers get to come across my arrow? That's not how it works. I like that answer. Okay? Because I don't have any polyatomic ions, any of the numbers get to come across the arrow. No. So, where are all my numbers coming from in this? The oxidation numbers. You don't even have to figure out if anybody's diatomic and double displacement. Everybody has to do what? Everybody has to switch and crisscross. So, +2, -1. +3, -1. Bring your oxidation numbers down. Bring your oxidation numbers down. Okay? Everybody has to do that in all the compounds. So, if I clean up this giant mess I have going now, without all these arrows and things drawn in it, all I have left to do is what?
Balance.
Is balance the equation. Now, if you can't get it to balance, odds are good you probably wrote it wrong. So, balancing either Cl or Br first wouldn't make any difference which one you picked. You have Br2 and Br3. You know you're going to put a 3 and a 2. 2 ALs, so 2 ALs made 6. So we need a 3. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It works just like yesterday's, doesn't it? They're called displacement because they switch 2 elements, so it makes it nice and easy. Okay, everybody caught up? Okay, so let's say that we do one with a polyatomic ion this time. Let's say that we have, oh, I don't know, let's do that's a CLO. I just keep getting them too close. All right, let's say we have that. And we want to double displace this and balance. All right, what's the first thing we need to do?
Oxidation.
All right, so what's manganese's oxidation number?
+7.
There you go. Remember that backwards crisscross. That's 7K from up there. What's sulfate? -2. What's nickel? +3. What's chlorate? Oops, -1. Like a 7 instead of 1 there. All right, so who's switching? So nickel's going over there with sulfate. And manganese is going over there with who? With the chlorate. Does somebody tell me something I'm getting over here? What'd you say, Xavier?
And
MEN with
then
ClO3. All right, somebody other than Xavier, give me the other one. Jonathan, you want to tell me one? And I with SO4. All right, Sophie, tell me something about my oxidation numbers. Okay, so what would I get? Okay, so Eduardo, tell me about the NiSO4. What do I have at the top?
-3.
And
Your SO4 is 2, bring them down, so it'll be Ni2, SO3, so forth.
good. All right, anybody have a question about how they did that? Okay, so if I clean this up, all right, if I want to balance this, what do you want to balance first, Marissa? Huh? Okay. Sulfate? How many sulfates? How many there? So what are we going to do here? Okay. And what here? Okay. How many manganeses did you make? How am I going to get 6? Okay. How many chlorates did you make? Okay. How did I get 42 here? 14 times 3 is 42. How many nickels did you make? How many nickels are here? All right, questions. Think you can try a couple? You can try them? Okay, you got your homework sheet handy?
Yeah.
Flip to the front side where the symbols are already written. You already lost your homework sheet? Well, you need to find your homework sheet. Here, if you lost your homework sheet. Here, we're going to do 7, 8, and 9. There's a question for you if you lost them. Okay? 7, 8, and 9.
Oh.
Now we're gonna talk combustion. I'm not gonna give you very long. I want to do combustion today. Combustion is easy. Why is this English teacher blowing up? Can I have a question?
Phase one.
Say what?
Phase one.
All right.
No, they're both fuse exactly like you have it. They cancel out. All right, how about now? Had enough time? You think? Have you done at least 2 of them? Yes, no? How about my folks in the back who I still see pencils going? Have y'all done 2? You've done 2, I'm okay. If you haven't, because I would like to do combustion. Yes, maybe, no, where? How many have you done? Okay. All right, so in the first one. All right, so you've got +2, -1, +1, -1, right? So who switched? I realize we're still missing like 9 people, but come on and talk to me. So who?
K
So we've got K with who?
and
NO3 and PB with
CL.
CL. All right, so using our oxidation numbers of +1 and -1, they did what? And then +2 and -1 and brought a 2 down. How do we do on that? Celia, how'd you do? Yes, no? You just gonna nod so I leave you be, or did you really look and get it right? You sure? Okay. So if we balance it, we need a 2 there in our chlorine, 2 Ks, 2 Ks, 2 nitrates, 2 nitrates. Okay? All right. Tell me the oxidation number on chromium here, Baden. What's right here? So +3. What's chlorine's oxidation number? Good. What's K's oxidation number? Karen. Potassium, right here. And fluorine. All right, Celia, who's changing places? All right, are you just telling me what we're getting on the other side? Okay, so CR and who? And then who? So who's going first? Okay, and then CL? All right, so tell me what my oxidation numbers are going to be on top, Jade. What am I going to get for oxidation numbers?
K and CL, if it cancels out, you get +1 and
Okay,
And then for CR and F, you get +3 for CR and -1 for F. And then you bring down the 3.
good. Everybody feel good about that? Okay, so to balance, we would have, let me get rid of all this. So we have how many F's here? So we put a 3 there, 3 Ks, 3 Ks, 3 CLs, 3 CLs. All right, so for the last one, if you got that far, what's the oxidation number of zinc here? And for carbonate? All right, a couple people asked me if we should make those 1s. The answer is no. They just reduced, so leave them at 2. +3, -1. Who's switching here if you got that far? Zinc and iron. So zinc is going to have a what on it? I know, but what? OH. Okay, and then Fe is going to have what on it? CO3. All right, putting in our oxidation numbers. Zinc is what? And OH is? That's why you want to leave those 2s there. So when you get over here, you know they're 2s. All right, Fe is a, and carbonate is a. So we're going to bring a 2 down and a 3 down. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, let's try that again. And get rid of that. All right, so let's balance. So what do we need to balance first? Okay, how many CO3s here? How many here? So put a 3. How many zincs did I make? So I'm going to put a 3. How many OHs did I make? How did I make 6? How many irons did I make? How many irons? Good. Any questions? All right, the last thing we're going to do today is the one you said you had a hard time with on the quiz. All right, the last topic is combustion. All right, so yesterday we said this is a hydrocarbon plus oxygen. You get CO2 plus water, right? Now, most people don't have a lot of trouble recognizing this most of the time. The biggest issue people have with this is usually balancing, which is what you guys told me was the trouble on today's quiz. So if we look at some equations, okay? The biggest issue people have with predicting. If I give something like this on the quiz or the test, what do you think people think that might be on the quiz or test if they don't immediately go, oh, that's combustion, Miss Wall? Exactly, okay? People look at this on the quiz or test and they go, this looks like a compound. This looks like an element. And they think single displacement initially. Okay? They lean towards single displacement initially when they see a compound and an element there. Okay? However, you have to recognize, all right, that it's a hydrocarbon plus oxygen. One of the other things that's going to help you is you're going to start with, oh, well, if it's single displacement, what's the first step in single displacement? Finding the what? Oxidation numbers. Some of y'all are going to look at those numbers at the bottom. All right, find me carbon's oxidation number. What? What's the highest oxidation number I told you we'd have? So can it be +8? No. And so then you go to your oxidation sheet and you're like, it's got a 4 or a 2. How's that 8 there? That's the first sign that you should recognize, uh-oh, something is wrong here. This 8 right here didn't come from up here, did it? No. That should start to spell trouble for you that this can't be a standard move my oxidation number straight back the way I learned. These did not crisscross, okay? The oxidation numbers here did not crisscross, okay? So that should tell you something is wrong. So when you get to that point on this question and you're like, oh, it's single displacement, Ms. Wall. No, it's not. So that should start to throw red flags up in front of you that I'm doing it wrong. So take a step back and go, what else could it be? That should start to clue you in that it's combustion. Okay? So you got a carbon and a hydrogen. That's a hydrocarbon. Okay? Plus, you got oxygen. Now, once you recognize it's combustion, you don't have to figure out any oxidation numbers. You don't have to switch anybody up. Once you've determined it's combustion, what are the two products? That's all you got to do. You just simply write CO2 plus H2O. That's it. Everybody with me on that? There's no switching. There's no figuring out oxidation numbers. You have to learn that those are the two products. The hardest part about this is figuring out from that, oh, dang, that's combustion. Those are the two products. That's what I write down. Okay? Now, the hard part for most of you is what? So let's balance a few. Let's try again. Does everybody have this so we can balance a few of them? Okay. So, all right, so let's say we have these two. All right, in the top one. How many C's do I have? 5. Okay. How do I get 5 C's right here? Okay. How many H's are right here? How do I get 12 H's? Okay. Now, this is the part people struggle with. This is the O's. So, we got to count our O's. How many O's are here? Plus, how many are here? Okay? The total O's on this side have to equal the total O's on this side. So how many total O's do I have over here? 16. Are we okay on that? So how did I get 16 here? Now, tell me why you're having a hard time. Y'all just walk me through that beautifully.
Nah, you did most of it.
I did not do most of it.
Yes, you did.
Okay? Works just like it. Just like it. I won't say a word. Balance it. The second one is different. That's why I wrote that one up there in black. The black one works just like the top one. All right, what do we have? Got an answer?
Yes.
All right. Yes, no, do I need more time?
No, you wouldn't.
Got a couple of pins going on back there at the back. All right, so how many C's are here? So what'd you put here? How many H's are here? So what'd you put here? How many O's? Plus, how many O's? 14 plus 8 is what? So what are you going to put here? Okay. This one's a tad harder. How many C's? How many H's? What you putting here? Now, when you add here, you get how many? Plus, how many here? 12 plus 7 is how many? Now, when you get an odd number, when you add, what did I tell you to do when you get an odd number? Add a 2 way out here, and then go back and redo right here, and it will fix that odd number. Okay? So, how many C's? How did I get 12 C's? That's a 1 right there. You got to write 12. How many H's? 28. So 2 times what will give you 28? 14. How many O's? How many O's? 24 plus 14 is? So 2 times what will give you 38? You can use a calculator if you can't do the math that fast. Okay? Questions? All right, you still got your homework sheet from last night. Dang it. Okay. We're doing all right, we're doing 10 to 12 on the front, and on the back, we're going to do
5, 6, 7.
I don't know, let's do 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So what I sign, so I can write it down or I'll forget from the website. So what I say, on the front,
10 to 12.
I said 10 to 12, and on the back, 6 to 8. Okay. Now, we need a couple combustion. All right, so 2 combustions. All right, number 1, let's go with C8H18 plus O2.
Want us to write that down?
And C9H20 plus O2 yields, plus those 2. Make myself a note here. You can write them at the bottom of your sheet so you don't have to waste paper. Okay? So at this point, we've learned to do 3 types of reactions. We're going to learn the other 2 tomorrow, Wednesday. So for those of you who test tomorrow, we're going to do synthesis and decomposition. And for those of you who test Thursday, we'll do the activity series Thursday. We'll review Friday, and we'll test Monday. That way I've slowed it down to a slower pace, so that should keep you, hopefully, from getting too far behind. That'll be your Thursday.